RPA means uh, Robotic Process Automation Consultant at Wells Fargo Solutions India Private Limited, Hyderabad. He is certified RPA developer with more than 9 years of hands-on experience in Oracle ERP and RPA development in finance, banking, manufacturing, and aviation industries. He obtained his bachelor's degree in the field of information technology from JNTU University College of Engineering, Vijayanagaram in 2013. He received so many awards Spotlight Award for effective utilization of resources by creating multiple reusable components, and Spot Award for implementation and integration of Elasticsearch and Kibana with UiPath, and creating Kibana dashboards as per business needs. Pat on the back too for automation initiatives and effectively handling multiple projects simultaneously. And finally, Innovator of the Month for becoming expertise in automation by implementing multiple automations. Uh, Now, I would like to invite our today's resource person, Mr. K. Venkata Pramodchandra, to deliver his lecture on robotic process automation. Welcome, Mr. Pramod, to our faculty development program.
Thank you, Jyoti ma'am. So that's a great introduction, and thank you so much for that. So good afternoon, and also this is Venkata Pramodchandra Kadali, currently working as RPA consultant at Wells Fargo India Private Limited. So I have around more than 9+ years of experience into IT industries and 5+ years of experience into RPA. Okay, so this is more about me. I would like to make this session more interactive rather than like a passive session, providing a lecture to you. Okay. So what I would like to do is I will start with the initial introduction to RPA, and then we'll go with the hands-on with the UiPath tool. Okay. Yeah, fine. So let me start presenting my screen and provide you the details. Just a moment. Yeah, please let me know once you are able to see my screen. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So this is myself from Venkata Promotions Academy. Okay. So let me start with our agenda for today. What is our agenda for today? So so right now today I'll give you a brief introduction on RPA and where RPA can be used, like where it will fit into in the different kinds of industries, and why RPA is called the fastest growing enterprise software in this current world, and also the RPA lifecycle, how it works um, from end to end, and also how a person can start their RPA journey from the scratch. Next, advantages of the RPA and disadvantages, and also what are the leading vendors, who are the leading vendors currently conquering this RPA industries, and also who is the leader in RPA. And finally, we do have a Q&A session so that it will be more interactive and more effective session. So thank you. Next, coming to introduction to RPA. So could anyone before starting my introduction, so introduction to RPA, did any one of you go through this RPA? So want to learn what is RPA and how this RPA works. So did any one of you have gone through that? What I say. So if anyone of you have some idea on this RPA, maybe you can raise your hands, and so that we can get an initial understanding of how what is your understanding on the RPA. So if anyone has an idea, they can raise their hands so that we can unmute and we can do some interactive sessions. Madam, did they have enabled? No, no. They have this raising the hand enabled for them, right? I think they should be. Okay. Someone, Daniel. Daniel, maybe Daniel. We can. Yeah, Daniel Park. I will. It's Daniel Parker. Sure, ma'am. Yeah, Daniel, you can go ahead. You can unmute yourself and you can go ahead. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so actually, the menu and everything I saw, like, I was just testing around the raise hand option, so that's why I clicked it.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
testing is fine. That's secondary. So, what is your
Mhm.
understanding on the RPA?
I mean, I'm new to RP, like,
Mhm.
I'm into front end development and designing, so
Okay.
I'm currently new to all this RP, like, into robotics thing.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So, I want the definition of RPA. So because you have explored few of these things, right? So, I want to make sure, like, what is the definition of RPA as per your knowledge?
I don't know exactly about RPA.
Okay,
Means,
Shrikar Anaparthi. So he wants to say something. Maybe you can unmute him, not a presenter. You can unmute him so that he can. Ma'am, can you enable for Shrikar Anaparthi so that he? Yeah, sure. Thanks, ma'am. Yeah, hi Shrikar. Yeah, you can unmute.
Hi,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, hi Shrikar.
Hello.
Yeah, hi
Hi,
Shrikar.
sir.
We can hear. Yeah, hi.
I'm already learned this RPA, sir. Already.
Okay, okay. No, Shrikar, that's fine. You have learned RPA. You know, you have some hands-on with RPA. So I want the definition of RPA. Like, so what you have learned from the RPA. So what is the definition of RPA?
RPA
Yeah.
means robotic process automation, sir.
Okay. What exactly?
RPA.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
exactly means? In 10 people do one work in one day, then robotic automation process do in one day, sir. One robot.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Example: Excel sheet filling and etc.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Data. Data.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thanks, Taker. Thanks for the your inputs. So let me explain. So what is RPA is exactly? So RPA is basically an a robot. So it's not a robot, it's in software which actually mimics the tasks of a repetitive process. So the thing is, like, when there is a repetitive process, for example, a support engineering doing his daily maintenance activity on a regular time, like logging into a server and doing some list of steps that is assigned to him on a regular basis. And this entire support executive systems has around 20 members, right? So 20 members are doing the same work all the day, right? So what it will do is robotic process automation. What it will do is it will perform mimics the human actions. It will mimic the human actions so that what are the steps the human is doing will be automated using the RPA. Okay, this is more about RPA. Yeah, thanks for that, Shrikar. And also, so this RP is hello. Yeah, someone is talking. Yeah, thank you. So basically what happens is, like, so this RPA has a huge number of advantages, like reducing human efforts. Okay, and also very flexible and um, great return on investments. So the major advantage is like acceleration transformation, so that what are the resources which are working on the repetitive task will be assigned to the other tasks, so that there will be major productivity and also major cost saving on that particular projects. Okay, and great resilience so that there won't be any errors. The exceptions or the errors will be less. High accuracy when compared to a human, so that because whatever the steps that are fed to a system will be executed as expected without any errors. Okay, and also improved compliance so that there won't be any misuses of information or the data by a human, because the bot is performing these details and it is storing in a secured manner. And also boosted productivity by utilizing the resources to the other processes. Okay, so these are the major introduction of the RPA. Okay, coming to the next slide. So where RPA can be used. So today RPA has huge advantages and a huge spread of industries like financial services, government sectors, healthcare, transportation, supply chain, energy, communication, education, so whatnot everywhere. So this the use of RPA is everywhere, even bankings and everywhere. So because the thing is like whatever the automations that are created for a particular industry, that will help to create the greater return on investments. So whatever the investment that are putting on developing or procuring the bots, okay, that will produce a huge return on the investments they are putting on the bots. So this is the major advantage, and each and every industries has their own kind of robots that are created, and they have huge advantages. Okay, why is RPA growing as the fastest enterprise software? So because of its rapid significant return on investments, as explained earlier. So it has a greater return on investments, and also minimal upfront investment. That means we need to only invest on this licensing cost and infrastructure. So we don't need to put an FTE, full-time employee, to work on it for a number of hours or a number of days. Okay, and also no disruption to underlying systems. There is there is no dependencies on the different kinds of systems as well. And next one is low code build environment. So the thing is like, what is difference between RPA and a coding environment? For example, what are the automations which we are talking about? For example, there is an automation that can be performed in a Python, in a .NET, okay, in a Java, and also using an RPA tools. So what is the major difference between these two? So whatever the automations that needs to be built using a Python, Java, or a .NET, they need to have an coding expertise, and they need to work learn more, and they need to perform some thousands and lakhs a number of lakhs of lining of codes. Okay, while coming to the RPA, RPA tools, they are like a drag and drop tools. They have a predefined tools and also predefined activities that can be utilized, uh, and they can be repurposed, and we can simply use those tools with very low coding. So there we do not need to perform any coding. So all we need to do is we need to provide the inputs to the system and retrieve the outputs from the system. So that's it. Okay, and also scalable and enterprise ready. So what we can do is, like, for example, if we have created a single robot, like we have designed a single process flow. Okay, let me take an example of a single process flow. For example, mm, an Oracle DBA, Oracle Database Administrator. Okay, what his roles, daily activities is like log into the Oracle database, checks for the daily incremental backups for that particular system, and also checks for the health utility of the system, and provides a report to the system. Okay, provides system report to the management. So for example, we take this as an example, and for example, there are 20 databases, and 10 people is working on 20 databases, managing 2 databases each. Okay, what we can do is we can create a robot to handle that process, and we can deploy that process in 20 bots. Okay, so there is a difference between a robot and a bot. So we can create a single process and we can deploy this process in 20 bots, so that those 20 bots will take care of those regular activities, and they will generate the report, so that these 10 FTEs, what are the 10 FTEs, they can be utilized for the other activities, so that there will be reduced efforts, and also um, the repetitive task will be finished in less than what the human could do. Okay, so this is why RP is a very fast growing enterprise software as of now. So, and the solution is will be scalable for n number of systems. Okay, thank you. So coming to the next is like RPA life cycle. So basically there are 6 stages of RPA life cycle. Coming to the first one is like the discovery phase. So discovery phase is where we'll do the assessment. What is meant by assessment? So for example, whenever someone like a man, some process owner comes to us saying like we want to automate some process. So when he comes on and say like we want to automate the process, then what we need to do is we need to do a feasibility check on that process. Okay, feasibility check is like whether the process is able to get automated. The first thing, like is it is a repetitive task. For the first and foremost thing is it a repetitive task? The second and foremost thing is like the volume of the data they are getting. Okay, how much volume of data they are getting. And third one is like whether the applications, whatever the applications they are using for the automation is responding properly, like the application is a thin client or thick client, so that if the application is responding properly, and there won't be any upgrades for the coming 1 to 2 years. Okay, so after doing all these assessments and providing a report to the management, they will decide whether the process is actually good for automation or not, because these factors are very important, because uh, the, the major advantage of RPA is like return on investments and also high accuracy. Okay, so return on investments can be done using calculated using the number of records they are processing, and accuracy is calculated using the how the application automation. Okay, so once the discovery phase is completed and the assessment is completed, then what we'll do is we'll come with the design approach. So there will be two things called as is process and to be process. So as is process is like whatever the executives are performing their daily routine activities. Daily routine activities in the sense, um, let's say the previous example is like Oracle DB maintenance, where they will log into the system, do their daily health checks, and performing incremental backups and provide the report. Okay, so this is one of the example. Okay, and they have n number of systems. So for example, they have some thousands to 2,000 number of systems where they need to perform those health checks on a daily basis. So what we'll do is like we will consider that as is process from the business owners, business owners or the product owners, and then we will create a design for that. Okay, so design in the sense how we are going to develop that automation using UiPath, or else what are the automation tools that are existing in the market, how we are going to develop that. So the design phase includes the flowchart, how we are taking the inputs from the product owners of the system, and what are the list of steps we are going to do, how the exceptions are handled. So what are the assumptions, what are the VDS that you are going to use. So all these kind of things will be captured in the design phase, and then a design review is performed over there. So once the design review is approved, then we'll go further with the development phase where the actual development begins. Okay, so in the development phase, what we'll do is we will perform, um, we will be starting with the creation of the design flows or the other process flows, and then we'll go with the actual, we'll go with the designing the flows with the actual design that was designed in the design phase. Okay, so we will list out all the exceptions and handle those exceptions, list out all the logs. So what are the different kinds of transactions that we are handling? All these items will be developed over here. And also unit testing and integration testing is also performed in the development phase. Okay, once this development is completed, we do have the user acceptance test. So user acceptance test will be performed by the business owners. Okay, there will be a business owner who is providing the process to us, right? So we need to perform a user acceptance test by running the bot in front of them with a list of test cases. So they do have some test cases. What if this exception occurs? What the bot is going to do, and if it is a happy path, what the bot going to do? So there will be list of test cases available for us. So using those test cases, the user exception testing will be performed, and when the user is happy, like the end user or the business user is happy, he will provide the sign off to the development team. Or else if there are some modifications needed as per the business requirement, then again it will go to the development phase, and the enhancement, what are the list of items that are provided by the user, will be developed in the development phase, back in the development phase, and again we'll go back to the user acceptance test. Once the user acceptance test is approved, then we will go for the deployment phase. So this is the deployment. In the deployment phase, the actual deployment of the bots, like the process is will be deployed into different kinds of different environments, like in, sorry, not different environments, in the into the production environment with a number of robots or a single robot. That depends upon the requirement. Okay, so for example, if the process is having some 1,000 records to process in a single day, and each transaction will take around 2 minutes of time. Okay, so then the developer needs to assess how many bots are required to process those 1,000 transactions within that day, so that there will be high availability and um, greater return on investment. Okay, so that they will divide this 1,000 transactions into somewhere around 200 transactions per bot, and they will assign 5 bots for that particular process, so that this process will execute on those 5 robots and complete this 1,000 transactions within the 200 into 400 minutes. Okay, instead of 2,000 minutes, it will complete this entire process in 400 minutes. So that's how there will be a greater impact in the time concern. Got it? So once the deployment is completed, there will be execution of bots that will be performed by the support team, and also there will be like the hypercare. Like we need to ensure that there won't be any exceptions in the production environment. So if there are any exceptions in the production environment, again that will come back to the development team, and then they will do the enhancements, and then again they will deploy them to the production. Okay, so once this all the maintenance work is completed, then they will hand over this entire bots to production support team, so that they need to handle all those bots um, in their environment. Okay, so this is more about the RPA life cycle and what are the different phases of the RPA life cycle. Okay, thank you. And next, coming to how we can start our RPA journey. Okay, so initially we need to get started with creating a POC. Like we need to identify a use case. First and foremost thing is like we need to learn the UI path, or else whatever might be the RPA to which we want to gain the knowledge. Okay, uh, get familiarized with the tool and pick a POC. Pick a POC. POC means proof of concept. It can be anything. Pick a POC, complete that POC. Okay, build your team, like you can work with a number of people, so that each persons have a different kind of approach to implement the task. Some may have a difficult logic to build that, some may have a simple logic to build that, right? So depending upon your knowledge, so we can build a great team and we can create a great RPA. Okay. And also we do have a number of technologies within RPA, like intelligent automation, action center, document understanding, and different kinds of things are available. So we need to get familiarized with those things and create a pipeline to create more and more opportunities for this. These things are all about like a business perspective rather than a standard or else a layman perspective. Okay, so whatever the things that are captured over here is more like an business perspective. So how we are doing is like uh, for example, when a company is starting its RPA journey as a pilot team in the sense it's like a complete starting team, and then they want to get their projects from a different third party vendor. Okay, third party vendor, then what they will do is like they will create a POC and then they will build their teams to approach to different technologies and get the center of excellence for the team, and then they will look for different technologies within their pipeline, and then they build a pipeline and capture more opportunities in the sense they'll intake more processes from the business. What are might be the business? For example, a company is having finance sector, finance domain, and finance domain, supply chain domain, and different kinds of domains are there. Okay, each domain might have a repetitive task, and we will go to that particular business and ask for any process that is available, that is repetitive and has a huge number of tasks. So we'll go to them, we'll get the details, and we'll do a process assessment. And once that is done, then we will create a POC for that and then build a pipeline so that there will be more and more processes coming up to the team. Okay, so this is more about these things like starting with the process, scaling across different enterprises, and transforming the business. So this is how a business will start their RPA journey. Yeah, thank you. And coming to the advantages, so coming to the advantages of RPA, we do have a greater number of advantages like the compliance. There won't be any data breach because of the bots is entirely maintaining the data without any human intervention. So next is the cost saving. Okay, so when n number of bots are deployed to the production, there will be a greater return on investment. So whatever the things which we are investing is like the infrastructure and the licensing cost. So these are the only items what we are investing, and the rest is like there will be greater return on investment because the full-time employee which is allocated for that particular repetitive task can be reused or repurposed for the another task, and that might save a huge benefit to the company. Okay, less errors. So using a human may make a number of errors because of some unforeseen issues or else like overlook issues, right? So while coming to the bots, they will perform their actions as per the defined number of steps, and there won't be any exceptions unless and until the application is not responding properly. Even that can be handled, and it will throw out an exceptions for that, and the exceptions also will be captured and it will be sent out to the team. Okay, and faster processing. For example, a 10 members can do a work in n number of hours. This bot will perform those that work in by n by 10 hours. Okay, that means there will be lesser utilization of time when compared to human process. Okay, and better customer service in the sense we don't have any issues with the support from the RPA industry, like even from the UiPath, Blue Prism, or automation anywhere. So these are the major tools that are available in market as of now, and they have a better customer service in the sense like they will, whenever we stuck with some issues with this while developing the automation, so we do have the direct system customer connect with them, and they can fix the issues as soon as possible. Okay, and coming to low technical barrier. So low technical barrier is like as explained earlier, automating a process using a Python Java versus automating a process using a RPA tool. So we don't require any coding knowledge for building an business intelligent process automation. So we simply require a few things like how to create VB scripts for accessing the data and for outputting the data. That's it, and building the logics in between. Okay. So it is more secure when compared to the other when compared to humans. Yeah, so these are the advantages of RPA. Coming to the downsides, so disadvantages of RPA are like iteration, like we do have few iterations in the RPA and sprawling technologies. That means, so this has very limited um, sorry, very limited what we say, interactions with the other technologies. Okay, and added complexity. For example, if you are trying to create a process and there are in between we stuck with some few items, and that component is not available within this RPA technologies, then that might have a add a complexity to the process, so that the entire process might be discarded. Okay, so magnification of problematic so few disadvantages. Cost transformation. Hmm. So I can explain this. We can maybe skip these items. And coming to the leading vendors. So right now we do have a few of the leading vendors in the RPA industries. Like one is like the UiPath, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, Pega, Kofax, Power Automate from Microsoft, Nice, WorkFusion, and Win Automation. Okay, so coming to all of these tools, so what are the tools that we have over here are entirely built on a .NET framework. So the major backbone of these tools are like .NET framework. So that what we can do is we can create a DLL libraries or those the packages in the form of .NET, and then we can deploy those packages for our reusability. Okay. Next, leaders in RPA. So as per the 2023 Q1 Foster's prediction, so UiPath is the leader of RPA after Pega systems. Sorry, before Pega systems, and even Blue Prism and automations are in the leaderboard. While coming to the Work Fusion and Microsoft Power Automate are in the strong performance. So we do have different set of automation tools that are available like Edgeverse, Nice, APN, ServiceNow, Newgen, SAP, MuleSoft, IBM, and Nintex. So among these, we do have the UiPath is the leader of the RPAs. Okay, so this is more about RPA. So if you have any question and answers, maybe you can ask. I can yeah, I can answer you, and then we can go ahead with the actual practical session. Thank you. So I could see Shrikar, Shoda, and V. Trinada raise their hands. So do you have any questions so that you can ask?
Sir, this is great. I don't have any question. Thank you.
Maybe you can down your hand so that the other might speak. Yeah, Shoda Trinada. So do you have any questions? Yashoda, you can.
No, no, madam. No, madam.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, so if you have no questions, maybe you can mute yourself, and so we can go ahead with this actual um, practical session. Okay, thank you. Cool. So as of now, we worked with went through this RPA. What is RPA and what are the different kinds of RPA and what are the advantages and disadvantages? Okay. Now coming to the RPS, so UiPath is a leading vendor where it has a different set of capabilities for implementation and also integrations. Okay, so hope everyone installed UiPath Studio on your machines, as that is the prerequisite of this session, and everyone has a UiPath installed on their machine. If anyone is missing, just follow these few steps like sign up to cloud.uipath.com. From here you can download the software, like from here you can download the software and then install. We can go with the quick installation, and then the actual installation goes place within 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, and then you need to sign into this actual portal like cloud.uipath.com, so that it will redirect and pick the license from there. And after that, this is the actual UiPath Studio that will be launched. Okay. Cool. So if anyone is still missing installations, maybe they can raise their hands, or else we can move ahead. Okay, I think everyone installed it on their machines. Thank you. Fine. Let me go ahead and give few details. Okay, so this is what is this? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So this is the actual website of sorry, the official website of UiPath, wherein it contains all the details where we can download the software, what are the different kinds of blogs, or else the white papers that are produced by the UiPath, and so what different kinds of automations that are being performed, and also different kind of item. Sorry, what we say. So which sectors are automating? So healthcare, business, banking and financial sectors, insurance, public sectors, telecom, manufacturing. So everything is available. So Gautam was he's head of intelligent automation, Wells Fargo. He's our actually uh, he's our senior leader from USA. So likewise, everyone has provided their comments on so not comments, what is it like? I forgot that name, but how the RP industry is helping their workspace. So they have provided an article about that. So this is more about it. And also we do have this documentation portal where it contains all the UiPath documentation that could help you to figure out and learn the things. UiPath community is a place where all the UiPath developers or RPA leads or the most valuable professionals, so-called MVPs, and also UiPath leaders will meet together in person or virtual, and they do have some technical sessions that will be going through. Let me open this. I'll show you. So this is the community page. Okay. Your community page has a list of upcoming events like UiPath Hackathon, UiPath Studio Web leveraging ChatGPT. So these are the different kinds of events that will be organized by the UiPath the community, and the speakers will be UiPath developers, and they will deliver their ideas and also their knowledge to the people. They can interact with the developers and they can get some insights on that. Okay, so we do have different kinds of chapters, like for example, each and every city like Hyderabad, Pune, Bangalore, Kolkata, Every city has their own chapters, and that there will be available chapter leads. Hyderabad community note. Hyderabad. Yeah, so this is more about the Hyderabad chapter, wherein what are the past events, what are the upcoming events that are happening in the Hyderabad chapters. So these are the organizers. Vibhor Srivatsa is the uh, global community leader, where he manages the entire UiPath community. And Rohit Radhakrishnan is the APC, like Asia Pacific lead, who is the one who organizes the event within and manages the event within the Asia region. And Niklesh Sachivarpu is the person, is the chapter lead. He is going to organize all the events that are happening in the Hyderabad. Okay, so we do have different kinds of partners like Sunera Tech, XT Global. So these are some of the chapter photos uh, that happen at different locations. Like these are like the corporate offices where the events will happen, share their knowledge, and explore more things about it. Okay, so this is about the community, and sorry, yeah, and UiPath Academy for. So UiPath Academy is a place where we can learn n number of courses, for let's say starting from the foundation course to the advanced course, all of free of cost. There won't be charging anything, so this is completely free of cost. You can start from scratch, like the foundation course to advanced developer course over here. So there are n number of courses available here, and you can go through them, learn the things, practice those things, and you can have a more and more idea on this tool. Okay, similarly we do have the academy for automation anywhere, do prism and everywhere. But when coming to the UiPath Studio, it's a tool where you can leverage your time and knowledge very efficiently, and also the learning is so easy when compared to the other tools. So that's the reason when I say UiPath is the leader in automation space. So it's truly proven its capabilities by providing the community edition of UiPath, where it is a free for three months, and then again you can extend their license so that everyone can get the hands on it to it, and then they can work on it. Okay, so this is one of its kind, and also we do have a number of trainings available in this plan. Let's say courses. Yeah, so you can see like what are the different kinds of products available for them. Action Center, Activities, CA Center, apps, UiPath apps, UiPath Assistant, Automation Cloud, automation, a number of products available for this particular UiPath Studio, sorry, UiPath. Okay, so you can go to any of these course and you can learn it by all to yourself for free without paying a single penny. And also the difficulty levels. So whether you are a beginner, for example, if I click on beginner, it will show up all the beginner courses from the foundation. So UiPath Studio, Web, Task Mining, everything. These are the beginner courses for that. So likewise, you can work on the trainings which are role specific. For example, for a business analyst, what are the different kinds of trainings required for them? For process mining, different kinds of roles, trainings available for them. Okay, so this is all about it, all about the academy. And also certification. So there are few certifications available in the UiPath as well. So this is called associate exam, advanced developer, and business analyst developer. Okay, so these are actually paid certifications. Apart from the whatever the learnings that we do, for each and every learning, there will be a certificate generated on your name, and you'll be certified for that particular module. Okay, and coming to resources, so we have different kinds of resources available over here. How to become a UiPath certified developer, When we click on this, like we do have the list of courses that are predefined for that particular training or the certification will be showing up. For example, when I click on advanced certifications, so there will be a learning of 79 hours. So 79 hours of training, and um, once we have done all these trainings, then we can give a exam which costs around $200 for this particular exam, and then we will be marked as a advanced certified developer. Okay, so this is more about academy, RLC UiPath Academy, and documentation portal. Coming to the documentation portal. Okay, so this is the documentation portal where we have all the different kinds of modules that are available, like automation hub, communication mining, marketplace, process mining, task capture, task mining, everything. So every module is available over here. So starting from the basic activities to the advanced things, everything is available in this documentation portal, and you can get those things over here. Okay, so docs is done. This is also documentation portal. Next community, we have gone through this. Yeah, next forum. Okay, so coming to the forum, so this is more like an knowledge base. Okay, so what we meant by knowledge base, the thing is like whenever when a developer is stuck in between some activity or some development, right? For example, let's say selector. Let's say when you have a topic like fuzzy selector not working, something like this. So they will post, some developer will post a question over here, fuzzy selector on web not working. So he is trying to explain his scenario, what he's having, what is having the issue. Then there will be n number of developers. Okay, the n number of developers that are available in the forum who can actually provide the solution for that particular problem statement. So for example, here it is solved, right? It is marked as solved. You should use for each UA element, and then so he is the one, Paul is the one who has provided us a solution for this particular problem statement. Okay, so this one postweek. So similarly, so any developer who has access to this forum, they can post their solution, and they can provide share the ideas with the different set of people. Okay, so this is the forum where everyone can get their solutions for a particular problem. Okay, next RPA resources. This is more about academy. Yeah. So and also we do have different kinds of coming to the discovery, we do have the process mining, task mining, communication mining, automation hub, and marketplace. Okay, let's say when I say the marketplace, okay, what is this? Yeah, so marketplace is the portal where there are n number of modules that are created by different set of developers. Different set of developers means any developer can create a reusable component, reusable code that can be used by any developer. So they can go to this marketplace, search for that particular problem statement, download that reusable component, and use that reusable component within their workspace. Okay. For example, let's say OpenAI, which is a chat GPT. OpenAI is like a chat GPT. You can download this particular example. For example, coming to the summary, the OpenAI connector enables user to interact with OpenAI models, including those powered chat GPT directly in their automations. So what they will do is they will simply create a reusable component, and then they will publish this document and the XAML file over here, so that users can download the XAML, integrate the XAML within their workflows, and then simply provide the input to that particular XAML so that the output will be generated by this particular module. So these are whatever the components that are available in the marketplace are completely free of cost and they are completely reusable. For example, email, data table, email. Okay. So inserting data tables into email. Okay. So this is one of the data table to HTML converter. So this is one of the reusable component where we can insert this data table into email body. Okay. Into email body, but just by providing the data table directly to this particular XAML as an input. So these kind of different kinds of reusable components will be created by the developers, publish their code to the UiPath marketplace. Once this is when the team there will be initial investigation will be processed, because the thing is like whatever the reusable components published by every developer will not be published directly. Okay, there will be a list of actions that are taken by the UiPath team to make sure that is a reusable component and that can be reused anywhere, and they will publish that over here. So this is more about the marketplace, UiPath marketplace. And next, so when coming to these things, we do have multiple set of items. Okay, I don't want to waste your time. Like maybe we can go ahead and move with the another module. Okay. Mm, yeah. So coming to the cloud.uipath.com. Okay, so this is the major. Okay, logged out. Mhm. Yeah. So this is the heart of automations wherein I'll show you. Let me open a notepad and I'll note down. Okay. So components of UiPath. So we do have UiPath Studio, UiPath Orchestrator, UiPath Robot. Fourth one is UiPath Agent. Okay. So these are the major components. So there are other components available like the SQL database, which is a backend for the orchestrator, and Elasticsearch for visualizations and the dashboards. But these are the major components which the UiPath is using for basic development. Okay. So coming to the UiPath Studio. Okay. So UiPath Studio we have seen, right? So this is called the UiPath Studio, where we develop the entire process flow. So we will design the entire process flow in this UiPath Studio, and then we will publish this code to the UiPath orchestrator. Okay, so we can run this process flow which we designed locally, or we can publish this code to the orchestrator so that we can remotely run this process without the use of uh, UiPath Studio. Okay, so that is the major advantage of UiPath Orchestrator, where we can remotely manage and maintain all the items. Let me open the orchestrator for you, how it looks like, so that you will get a brief idea on that. So this is the UiPath Orchestrator, where it contains different set of pages like a tenant. Okay, in this tenant we do have robots, where we are going to manage all the robots that are available or attached to our workspace. So the folders monitoring, so the folders are the one where we will create a folder and manage those assets, or else the queues within that item, so that the other folder where they don't have access will not be able to access these items which are defined, so that there is a more compliance created for this particular folder. Okay, so monitoring is more like how many processes are running. It's like a dashboards, visualizations and the dashboards. And access, how many users will have the access and what are their access roles. Machines are like on which machines we are running this robot, and package different set of packages that are published to the UiPath orchestrators. Okay, once this is done, coming to the default, we will have different set of items like process, assets. Sorry, went to somewhere. Sorry, just give a minute. Yeah, we do have the process where what are the process that we created needs to be defined over here, defined in the UiPath orchestrator so that we can use that process and run it remotely from anywhere on that particular machine. Okay, so the orchestrator is more like a centralized control where we are maintaining all the artifacts of the automations, and also remotely manage the automations, either to running the automation or stopping an automation that is already running, or else updating the assets. Assets are the reusable items that can be defined, and we can modify whenever there is a change to that particular item. Okay, for example, credentials. Whenever the credentials got expired and we need to update the credentials, we don't need to directly go into the code and update those credentials and publish the new package. We can straight away define that asset over here, and we can update those details over in the orchestrator so that there won't be any code change. And simply by updating the asset, the username password will be reflected in the process flow. Okay, so these are more about assets, and queues are like okay, queues are like what we can do is like for example, when we go into a go to the movie. Okay, so there will be a queue wherein the first person go in, get the ticket and come out. So first in first out, right? Queue, the concept of queue is first in first out. So here also what we'll do is we'll insert n number of items in the queue. Okay, whenever the process runs, it will go to this particular whatever the queue that is referred in the process, that will go to that particular queue. For example, here we can see a primary and secondary, right? Okay, so it will go, for example, when I say a primary, it will go into this primary queue, check for items if there are any items. Here, when we see there are two remaining items, right? It will check for these items, pick the first item, process that item as for the process flow, and set this transaction, whether it got successful, application exception or business exception, whatever might be, that is defined in the process flow, that will be updated over here. And then it will either throw an exception or it will change the status of that particular item and then move to the next item. So this is the concept of queues wherein it is mostly useful for the transactional process. So transactional process in the sense there are n number of items for a particular process. For each item it will process as per first in first out. Okay, so this is more about queues. So any questions as of now, because I think I don't think I'm going too fast as of now. So if any questions, please raise your hands so that I can clarify your doubts till now. Guys, is it a boring session or interactive session or whatever might be? So maybe you can provide your review comments as well. So if I want to go slow or else something I need to improvise, I can do that. So please raise your hands and ask your questions, or if anything apart from the questions as well, I'm good to answer you. Yeah, thank you, madam. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So this is more about UiPath Orchestrator, where we are remotely managing all the artifacts and the processes. Okay, so this is one heart of the UiPath where we are doing all by remote. Okay, coming to next component, UiPath robot. Okay, so whenever we are running a process, okay, when I create a process in UiPath, for example, let me open a main workflow. Let's say simple log. I'll put a simple log message to make sure. Past. So whenever we created a process flow and when we hit a run or else run file or run, then what happens is like a robot will be invoked and it will run this particular process. See, we don't get enough chance to see that robot. Let's make one more thing. So when I debug this file, okay, so there is a difference between a debug and a run. Okay, so when I debug these files, what happens is like each and every item will be debugged and it will provide the results. So right now the bot is in pause state because until and unless I click on OK on this message box, it won't stop the bot. So whenever I start a process, then a robot is invoked. Where is this? It's not showing up over here. Just a moment. Yeah, let's see here. This is message box. Okay, actually, see when you open this, this is so-called UiPath assistant. You can run. Yeah, yeah. So this is called UiPath assistant. So right now this process get attachments underscore Gmail is running. It is showing up, right? So it is running state. If you want to pause this automation, you can do it from here. If you want to stop this automation, you can do it from here. So instead of clicking OK, I will stop the automations from here. Yes. Stopping job. It is stopped. See, so what are the UiPath assistant is the place where the robot will be invoked and the robot will run all the actions of that particular process. Okay, so this is UiPath robot. And next coming to UiPath agent. So UiPath agent is more like a catalyst. Okay, we have heard this word called catalyst in our chemistry, right? So catalyst is the one which is invisible, but it will perform a certain action, right? So similarly, UiPath agent is an invisible item where it will create whenever we start executing a robot, or else when we start executing an automation, what it will do is the UiPath agent will create a connection between UiPath Studio and UiPath Robot, and it will create connection between UiPath Orchestrator and the robot, vice versa. Like when I say UiPath Studio, what similarly. Robot. Okay. So whenever we start running the process from UiPath Studio or remotely from UiPath Orchestrator, what happens is like this UiPath agent Okay, UiPath agent will act as a catalyst and it will create a connection between UiPath Studio and UiPath robot and run the process. Okay, it will send a signal stating that, hey, robot, you received a signal from UiPath Studio to run this particular automation. So then the UiPath robot understands there is a signal coming from the UiPath Studio for running this automation via UiPath agent. So I need to start the bot. Okay, so this is more about the components of UiPath. So these are the major components that will be helpful for creating and delivering and what we say, running the automations. Okay, so those are that is more about the insights on these components. Now coming to UiPath Studio, hope everyone has UiPath Studio installed on your machines, and I'll go through the interface of the UiPath Studio initially, and then I can explain you everything. Okay, coming to the home page. So UiPath Studio, once the UiPath Studio is installed, the actual interface is in this manner. Okay, we do have a list of items called open a local project and or else clone a checkout. This means whenever a UiPath project that is already existing or created in your local machine or, or on some other machine, you get that into your local machine, you can open that project and work on that project. Okay. Also, we do have list of items like when while creating a new project, we do have different set of items, right? A simple process, a library, test automation, or a template. And also within the template, there are different kinds of templates, right? Attended automation, background process, mobile testing, orchestrator process, robotic enterprise framework, and transactional process. So these are the few major examples. Okay. And one more thing I forgot to tell you. Okay. Different kinds of automations. So basically there are different kinds of automations available within the workspace, like uh, attended automation. Second one is unattended automation. Third one is hybrid. Okay, so hybrid automation. So what is meant by an attended automation, unattended automation, and a hybrid automation? Okay, coming to attended automation. So whenever an automation requires an human intervention, that means, for example, when a bot needs to run, okay, bot needs to run, there might be an human interaction, either by providing the input, or he needs to trigger it manually because of the time concern, or else the restrictions. Okay, or else he needs to provide an input through a form. Let's say one of the examples of one of the attended automation, like the event-based triggers. So what I can say, submitting a form. Okay, let's say application, like when you are trying to most of you are from the sorry, educational sector, right? So let's say a gate exam. Okay, gate exam. So what we need to do is we need to fill out the forms, online forms, for example, online forms, submit the form through online portals, right? So that's one of the basic example that I'm taking, right? So you need to fill up all your details, like the first name, last name, what are the details that are your date of birth and your group, and everything needs to be filled up. And then once you submit, okay, submit, a form will be generated in the background. And so when we create an automation for that particular thing, like um, processing that when all the details of that particular form, and um, capture whether the candidate is eligible for writing the cat exam, gate exam or not. Okay, that's one of the simple automation I can say. So here what is happening is, like, whenever a user submits a form, then the automation will be triggered. That means the input is needed from a user, so that the automation will trigger, right? So this is the attended automation where the bot needs to wait for the inputs from the user. That means there is a human intervention for this bot. And second one is unattended automation. So unattended automation is where we need to place a file, like for example, student attendance. Okay, so we have filled up all the attendance for that particular month. Okay, all the details will be filled in an Excel tab, Excel sheet for that particular month. Put that Excel sheet into a shared drive. Okay, what bot will do is bot will run a monthly maintenance on that particular report. So what bot will do is bot will search for that particular item on a specified date, pick that file, process all the records, and generates an output. So this is more like an unattended automation where we have a predefined input that will be provided at a particular location. Bot will pick that and it search for that, and it will pick that and process that, and it will send out the results. So there is no human intervention provided available for that particular process. It only relies on the input file that is present at a particular location, right? So this is more about an unattended automation. And third one is hybrid. It is like both unattended and attended. uh, like when I say um, particular automation for the attendance, when we continue with this, extend the attendance topic. Okay, when we do the automation for the attendance, and the unattended bot will pick the file, process the file, and generates an output. But after that, still we need an approval from the principal. We need an approval from the principal to get it all the things approved by reviewing the output. Okay, so there we require a human intervention like the principal's approval to be completed, and then further proceed with the actual report. Okay, so this is where the hybrid automation comes in, where the first part is the unattended automation completes all its part, sends an approval to the principal. Once the principal approves that, then the next part of the automation will be triggered and generates a final output file. So this is how the hybrid automation comes into picture. So I think I have explained in more detail about these different kinds of automations available in the market. Okay, cool. Okay, fine. And also coming to templates, we do have different kinds of predefined templates that are available, because these templates are created by different kinds of developers or the UiPath organization itself to efficiently use this template and just to provide inputs. Like for example, let's say we are creating an sorry what can I say, yeah, for writing a cat exam, we will be given a application form, right? That will be in a standard template. Okay, where we need to fill out the details over there and just provide submit the application. So similarly here, for example, when I coming to SAP testing project, it will have the default framework where we need to provide some few inputs and few modifications needs to be done according to the project requirement, and then we can submit the project so that there will be time saving. Therefore, the time saving efforts will be there using these templates. So this is more advantages for advantages for each and every developer to reduce the timelines and to increase their efficiency. Got it? Mhm. Okay, fine. Just a moment. Can you give me like 10 minutes of break, because I'm feeling very thirsty. Just I think. Yeah, so maybe we can regroup at 3:30 p.m. Right. Right now it's 3:17. We can regroup at 3:30 p.m. Sure. Thank you. I'm going on mute as of now. Thanks. Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm back. Maybe we'll wait for a couple of minutes for others to come back. Thank you. Yeah, hi everyone. I think everyone is back by this time. So can we continue with the session? Yeah, sure. Thanks, ma'am. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So coming to UiPath Studio, so we do have list of menu items available over here. So one is opening for a new project or else existing project and closing the project. Second one is for the starting a new process from the scratch using a different kinds of predefined templates that are available for us. So the most important template that most of the industries are using is like the robotic enterprise framework. So this framework is created by UiPath itself to for a for transactional process wherein each transaction is carried out each item is carried out as a single transaction with efficient exception handling and efficient logging mechanism, so that if else there is an exception happening for that particular transactions, all that exceptions will be captured, and this will prevent affecting other transactions and also effective creation of the output. Okay, so this is one of the framework that we are using, robotic enterprise framework. And coming to tools, we do have different set of applications like UI Explorer, wherein we will enhance the selectors. I will go in deep into the part of selectors. So UI Explorer, project dependencies, and also repair kit. So this is a different thing. So manage dependencies is the one where, for example, we are using a particular process, right? Or else we first, whenever creating a particular process, there will be a list of dependencies will be created for that particular project. Okay, so those dependencies can be managed from here, or else if you want to create or use a new dependency, then we can search the dependency and then we can use for our particular project. Coming to get repository. Yeah, so project dependencies mass update. Okay. For example, I'll select some two repositories and click next. It will ask for this repository location where we need to download these files. So when I say local, I'll select this local folder somewhere on downloads. So what are the projects that are dependent on these items will be filtered over here, and we'll commit those changes and publish that. So this is more like a business perspective and we don't require this. Okay, as of now. And coming to the UiPath extensions. So whenever we are creating a process flow and interacting with an application, we do require an extension so that not extension. When I say extension, it is an barrier, like it's a catalyst, or else the agent that is acting between that particular application and the UiPath Studio. So whenever we are running an automation on Chrome, we need to install this extension, like the browser extension that is already installed on this machine. Let's say, see, UiPath browser automation extension, which is already installed on this machine, so that whenever we are running an automation on this machine, so the UiPath Studio will interact with the Chrome browser using this extension, and then we can automate the process in the Chrome browser. Okay, this is more about the extensions. Similarly, when we are running an automation on a web-based application, sorry, Java applications or Firefox or else Silverlight applications, Citrix applications. So these extensions needs to be installed on a machine, or also what are the machine that is running the bot, so that the bot will automatically interact with this application using these extensions. So for automating one of the Java applications, we need Java extension needs to be installed. Okay. So for example, one of the layman started an automation, or else newbie started an automation journey, and he installed the UiPath and started automating his process on an Edge browser or a Chrome browser. Okay, basically they'll start with the web automations, right? So they started automating the process, and they are trying to capture elements from the browser, but that is not happening as expected. And when he verifies that the extension is not installed on that machine, so that's the reason why he will be unable to access that application. Okay, for example, right here we do have a Firefox, right? But the Firefox extension is not installed on the browser. Let me go and try to automate a process, simple process in the Firefox browser. Okay, let's say, yeah, let's say open one of the application called Amazon. Okay, I'll try to click the Amazon homepage using UiPath Studio. Okay, activities. I'll take a simple click activity. Simple click activity and try to indicate that element. The current activity must be added inside here. Okay, browser application scope, fine. So what are the studio which we are using? This is called the community edition of UiPath, wherein this is a beta version. Okay, beta versions in this sense, we are using this for testing purpose, or else if there are any enhancements or changes that are required over here, we can raise that to the UiPath team. Okay, and one more thing is like these are all called modern activities. So coming to the legacy activities that are available in the enterprise edition of UiPath. So that is completely different when compared to the latest legacy activities, latest activities that are available in this community version of UiPath. Okay. So when coming to the enterprise, when I say the enterprise edition of UiPath, so that is like the stable release. Stable release in the sense there won't be any issues while using that particular item, particular version of the UiPath Studio. When coming to the community edition, there might be chances that there might be some exceptions happening. So there might be some few issues with this automation. Okay, fine. See here, when I try to interact with Firefox browser, so indicating this Firefox browser for automating my process, it is saying you need to install or enable UiPath extension for Firefox. Do you want to install this extension? Okay. So when I say install, oh sorry, when I say continue anyway, it won't perform further actions. Okay, when I say click over here, and integrate this Amazon.in. We are unable to capture the items. Again, and again, it will throw an exception. So when I try to install this extension, add. Okay. When I try to install this extension, and then again, when I'm trying to perform the same action, like indicating an element on a particular screen, Amazon.in. Overall, the element if you want. Cannot access this indicator. Okay, got it. So the thing is like initially when we are using the this application, we do not install the browser, right? Again, I'm trying to cannot access this indicated browser window. Please open a new window. And okay, because we need to restart the window. Just a moment. That's okay. So now I have launched the Amazon.in when trying to capture this item. See here, last time when I'm trying to capture the item, it is showing a red screen over here, like red transparent screen, where it is unable to capture the item. Right now it is able to capture the item and it will select this browser. And again, when I click on indicate on screen for this particular item, it will take an anchor based activity wherein it will try to provide the find the target. Amazon.in is the target, and it will try to find the anchor so that whenever this Amazon.in got juggled between the website, like for example Amazon.in is present over here in on the left top corner. When this Amazon.in move to the right top corner, it will automatically capture that item using an anchor. For example, Amazon.in, I'm providing an anchor with hello select your address. Okay, so that what happens is like using this hello select your address as an anchor, it will try to find Amazon.in at anywhere in this particular web page. This is called anchor target mapping, where it will try to identify this particular element on anywhere in the page. Okay, and also one more thing is like this is the selector that there is a concept called selector. So the major concept of selector is to identify an element based upon the properties of that particular element. For example, let me show you the target properties. Okay. So when we come to the target properties, it has created a fuzzy selector. Let me copy this. Yeah. So web control ID now. Okay. Because it's in, let me show you. Amazon.in properties. Yeah, sorry. We'll go in deep into these items because first we'll go with this overview, then we can go into those items. So this is how UiPath extension works, wherein installing these extensions on that particular applications will enable the applications to interact with the UiPath Studio. Okay. Similarly, we do have plugins like a GitHub, SVN, TFS for managing our products or do a daily check-ins to maintain a current code. Even if the source code is deleted in our local machine, the actual code is available within these repositories. These are the repositories. Okay, where we need to enable these plugins for the repository. Coming to templates, I already showed him. So teams. So we do have different items like let me enable SVN and TFS as well. Okay. So we need to restart to show up show those items over here. So we do have the Git repository. We need to clone this repository to the Git and get this Git file so that whenever you perform a change in the UiPath Studio, you can directly commit that changes to the GitHub so that you will have the latest code available in the GitHub at a remote repository. Okay, so that even if the code is misplaced or deleted in your local machine, the actual code will be already available and updated code will be already available in the GitHub so that you can get that code from there. And also, even if you are working in team, like two persons are working on the same project. Okay, for example, you are working for the first 6 hours of your project, and the next person is working on the next 6 hours of your other of the project. The first person can actually and they are from the different locations like Chennai and Bangalore. Okay, the Chennai person can do the first 6 hours of work and check in his code to the Git repositories, whereas all the local sorry latest code is available over there, so that the Bangalore person can get that code from the repository, pull that code from the repository, and he can do the latest enhancements for that code, and he can commit the changes. Like in this way, the team can efficiently use the code, and also it acts as a backup for the code. Okay. Next, coming to the settings, we do have normal settings for this. And one more thing is like license and profile. Okay. When I click on this change profile, we do have one more component. I forgot to tell you. One more component called UiPath Studio X. Okay, UiPath Studio and UiPath Studio X. So when we switch into UiPath Studio X, this is more like a business users. Okay, is very native developer, like a very layman developer who can design their workflows in the UiPath Studio X. It is very simple studio. Okay, simpler studio where it will have. Let me. Okay, I need to restart. Fine, I'll restart it. Maybe I can do a changeover again. Yeah. So now when I switch the license to Studio X, then it have opened a new project with a different interface, all of us a different interface with n predefined templates. For example, if I want to create I'll select one of the create pivot tables in Excel. Use this template. Okay, create. So this is how you can switch between UiPath Studio X and UiPath Studio from the settings license tab. So that this UiPath Studio X enables you to design a simpler flows without any knowledge. Like they don't need to have an coding knowledge, or they don't need to have some exceptional knowledge on designing the flows. They can simply do this. Okay, so it's trying to install few packages or the dependencies that are needed to run this workflow as of now. So you can see like installing packages, right? So installing packages means you do have some dependencies that are needed. When I say dependencies, let's say um, in a university, okay, in a university, we do have a library wherein different sections of different departments are there, like IT, Triple E, CEC, CSE, like that, right? So we will organize the books in the library as per the department. Okay, for example, in IT student wants in computer organization book from the library, then he need to pick that dependency, like, or else you need to pick that package, in the sense he need to pick that IT or CSE lane, and then he need to go there and pick that particular book from there. So similarly, when we want to use this Excel activities, we need to go to manage packages, and in the packages we need to have the project dependencies like Excel activities. This activity should be there so that it do have list of Excel package needs to be installed so that it do have list of activities that are needed for implementing this process. Okay, So this is a predefined and a very simple structure, so that just we need to provide the values over here. So this studio path X is mostly used by the power users, not power users in the sense the business users who don't have any knowledge on UiPath. They don't need to have any knowledge on UiPath. They just need to have the idea on the business flow where they can create their own processes without any extraordinary coding knowledge. Okay, so this is more about Studio Path X. Um, I think we in the actual business terms, we don't use UiPath Studio X. We only use UiPath Studio for developing your codes and deploying the code. Okay, let me switch back to the UiPath. Change profile. Yeah. Sorry, I'll quickly cover these items because we do have another 70 minutes of time. I'll quickly cover these items and create a small project for this. Okay, so this is more about this, and also we need to get familiarized on which version of UiPath Studio we are using. As okay, so right now when I click on help, we do provide the details of the item what we are using. Okay, so currently we are using 2023.6.1 community edition of UiPath. This is not enterprise edition. Remember that this is community edition of UiPath where um, the trainees or else the persons who are learning or else who are doing some POCs, they can use this without any license, and they can do some extraordinary POCs for this using this. Okay, so we do have release notes with some help items over here. Okay, next let me open a project. Let me close this. This is not required. Fine. Yeah. So coming to the UiPath Studio, we do have different panels available in the UiPath Studio. Coming the first one coming to the design panel. Next one is the debugging. And so let me talk about the design panel initially, and then I'll go with the debug and the other panels available in the UiPath Studio. Okay, so whenever coming to the design panel, we do have a new wherein we can create different kinds of flows. For example, when I click down, I could see like sequence, flowchart, state machine, workflow, and global handler. So the most important items where we are using is like the sequence, where for example, sequence where we do have a sequential steps that are available. We can simply drag and drop these sequential steps and we can perform the actions. Okay, one by one. Message box. So what it will do is open, select an application or a browser, do some action, log a message, sorry, log, pop up a message box and log a message. This is a simple sequence what we are using. Okay, so the other one is like an flowchart. Okay, flowchart is a place where we are performing some actions like even there are some flow decisions that are not flow decisions, if else statements or do while statements that are that we can use within the sequence. If else if or else do while do all these conditional statements can be used within the sequences. So coming to the flow chart, we do have we can use all these items like the similar kind of items what we have used in the sequence. We can use that like using browser application, log message, whatever might be. So whenever there is an flow decision, okay, that needs to navigate to a previous flow, that can be used over here. So I think we heard these items in our childhood, right? Like UML diagrams. So it's a kind of a similar item. It's a when the decision is false, then it will go back and retry this item, or else it will go further and use a Gmail, or else whatever might be, whatever the action that is going to perform, it will do that. And also there is like a flow switch. Flow switch. Okay, so this flow switch can be used to go to multiple switches, like depending upon the condition, it can go to different items. Whenever we provide that particular transaction and whatever the item that is needed for this flow sheet, that can be used for different items. Okay, so next one is like state machine. So this is one of the major items. The state machine is one of the major items where we are using in a robotic enterprise framework. Okay, so let me open that robotic enterprise framework and show you that how the state machines look like. So state machines are the one where it will operate based upon the conditions that are provided for the business logic. Okay. For example, when we see this, so we do have four states like initialization state, get transaction, process transaction, and end process. So end process will only have the inputs. There won't be any output for the end process. For example, let me show you. Yeah. See, when we go to state machines, we do have state, final state, and state machine. So we will be using the state and the final state. Final state is the end process where there will be only inputs. There won't be any outgoing transactions. While coming to the state, while seeing this, the initialization state, when we are initializing all the applications in this robotic enterprise framework, wherein whenever there is an exception happen, we don't need to go to the picking up the transaction because there is an exception happening while initializing the application, actual application what we are using for processing the transaction. So then what we'll do is we'll throw in system exception over here. The system exception is captured in the transaction phase over here. Okay. And it will redirect the flow from initializations to the end process. So this is where these state machines work a major role in redirecting from one state to another state based upon the transaction conditions. These conditions, what are the transactions conditions which are providing? Based upon those conditions, it will flow switch the switch the item from one state to other state. So this is more about the state machine. Okay. Next one is like workflow forms. Okay. So these are the new items that are added actually. Global handler, these, what are the items that you see below, right? So actually these three are the major items. Sequence, flowchart, and the state machines are the one which will be using by the business, and also the global handler, which is like global exceptional handler that is being used by the business. So these four are the major important flowcharts that we are going to use. Okay. And also save is like saving the export as means whenever you create a reusable component, for example logging to a Flipkart. Okay, that's a reusable component where a number of people can use by just providing changing the input parameters of the username and password. Okay, so what you can do is you can create a simple sequence for that, and then you can export it as a template or a library so that you can distribute among your team so that they can use that as an reusable component without performing any additional effort to creating that login page again. So we can export that as a template and provide to the team. So that's how these templates are used. And coming to this debug, so what happens is like when you create project locally and you need to run the project. Okay, there are four items. One is debug file, debug, and a run. Okay, so what happens is like when we are creating a project and the project complexity is very big. Let me rephrase this. Actually, there are different kinds of projects. Okay. The project can be categorized as simple, simple complexity, medium complexity, and high complexity projects. Okay, for the simple complex project, what we will do is like it is very simple projects wherein we will create a simple sequence or a simple flowchart in one example. When I say example, it means XAML file. Okay, so whatever the file process flow which we have created, the default extension will be XAML file. And okay, so that's a simple example that will be created for the simple projects. Coming to medium complex projects, there might be multiple steps that needs to be included, where all the steps need not to be included in a single flow. What I can do is like I can create a reusable component in a separate flow. For example, init, yeah, previously as I said, for the login workflow that is created as a library, right? You can invoke that library directly. Okay, invoke that library directly, so that this will be as an used as an reusable component. Okay, the major difference is like when we debug it, we will run one by one by do performing some breakpoints from checkpoints over there, so that the bot can stop over there, or else it will provide the results, whatever the results that is being extracted over from there. All these items will be available while debugging the code. Debug file will debug this entire file. Okay, debug will do the actual debug from the main folder. What are the main file that is available for us? Main is the heart of the entire project. Okay, so it will start debugging from the main project, and it will start from the entire flow. Okay, so whereas debug file will only debug this particular example, that means it will be the scope of the debugging is within this file only, whereas debug will the scope will be there for the entire project that will be starting from the main. So similarly, the run and run file will be the same, but when coming to the run and run file, it will run in the background. Okay, this is more about it. Okay, next, coming to the manage packages. So by default, whenever we create an automation or else create an project, the default package will be system activities, UI automations, testing activities, and the Excel activities. So what if, so you do have these four packages by default. What if I want PDF activities? I want to read a PDF and extract the details, but I don't see any PDF activities within this activity panel, right? So then what I can do is click on manage packages, go to all packages. So we do have different set of items over here, right? Local, official, marketplace, orchestrator host, and nugget.org. So nugget.org is a common repository for any kind of nugget packages. Okay, marketplace is the one which we discussed earlier. Official is the one official packages of the UI path, and local is the one where we can get some or create some packages, and you can deploy that package within your UI path studio. Let me select a PDF activity. Okay, and I can install this package and save. Now what it will do is it will download that package from the repository, and it will be added to the project dependencies. Let it get added project dependencies, so that what happens is like all the activities that are associated for the PDF will be displayed in this activities panel. See, you can see, right, all the PDF activities like reading a PDF, okay, read PDF with OCR, manage PDF password, all these different set of activities that are needed for the PDF functionality will be available in the activities panel. So this can be done by clicking on the manage package, go to all packages or whatever the repository you want to use, and then search for that particular package. For example, encryption. Encrypt. CR. For example, encryption. Okay. So we do have the encryption or decryption, n number of encryption and decryption activities available. When I click on official, we don't have. Okay. All packages we do have activities created. So this is a custom activity created by Bhavik Solanki. Okay, he is a developer who created this activity and published that to nugget.org, so that whenever we search the item, that this will be this field will be picked up and all the nugget packages that are available in this feed will be shown over here. Okay. So this is how we'll manage the packages. Next, coming to manage entities is not required. Test manager is not required. And also recording. So this is one of the most popular thing. Like let me show you. Let me create a new sequence. Recording. Okay, so whenever you are unable to find out the accurate activities that are needed for an action to perform to be performed, okay, then what I can do is I can simply use a app or web recording. So previously it used to be like, let me show you. Yeah. Let me. Yeah. In the modern activities, previously it used to be like basic recording, desktop recording, web recording, Citrix recording, and image recording. Okay, so these kind of different recordings are available for us. Like, see, when we click on recording, these kind of activities will be popped up in the previous versions, like the legacy versions of UiPath or else the enterprise version of UiPath. While coming to the modern community version of UiPath, that is integrated completely into a single activity called app or web recording. Sorry, two actually, app or web recording, and the second one is a computer vision. Okay, so when I click on app or web recording, what it will do is it will start the recording, and then whenever we will see, like for example, I'll do click on this online shopping website, it will start collecting the details, and it automatically detected that. Next, I want to click on Amazon.in, so the next step will be recorded over here. See, when you see over here, see all the flows is creating over here, right? So next I'll click on mobiles. Next item is collected. And when I click on save, see the flow is automatically created. We don't need to do anything. So you don't need to drag and drop the activities to create a flow over here. So simply do a recording and do a list of steps that are needed for our auto process flow. Then the bot will automatically record that. Then we need to provide the parameters for that, like using the properties. Okay, parameters. I'll show. I'll explain all those things about those things in the coming time. Okay, so this is insights of the recorders. Okay, and also user events. So whenever one person click on any element, then it will automate or it should automatically trigger some items. So that is more about these user events. Okay, because there is some time constraints. I'm going a little fast right now. Don't mind. Okay, so next is the table extraction. So whenever we want to extract a data table from a web page or an what we say. mm, Web page or an application. Okay, so then what we can do is, for example, let me say open headsets in Amazon. Let me open headsets. That will have list of headsets that are available. Okay, list of headsets, but I want all details of all these headsets. Then what I can do is select data to extract and indicate those items, Apple AirPods, and then extract text and URL. Next, bot. Just a moment. However, the data in the page to click the. Okay, so similarly, what it will do is I'll select the second column. So see, when I click on the second item, what happened is like all the elements in this page got highlighted, right? All the elements in this page got highlighted, right? So then what it will do is it will, when I say confirm, extract data from multiple pages. So what it will do is, let me indicate the next button. Function F2. Okay, see all results. Okay, so then on save and close. Okay, so it will create a data table. That means list of data items. Okay, list of data items, so-called data table with all the details of this particular items in this page. Let me close this. Mm, yeah. Okay, let me close this out. So it is now what it is doing is it is using the Firefox browser with this application, but like it will directly navigate to this path, and then it will try to extract these details and use it as a data table. Let me do one thing. DT is a default output for this. Why the default output is not defined? Okay. Okay, there is some issue with this. Okay, so basically what happens is like whenever we run this process, then what it will do is it will extract all the details of all the details from the website, so called amazon.in, with this description and the URL. Okay, so the functionality of that particular data table extraction is like extracting the data tables from the web page or else an application. In this case, what it will do is it will extract the details of this particular item along with the URL, so that that can be used for selecting the best item among the list. Okay, that's more about table extraction. UI Explorer is in depth of UI path selectors. Maybe I'll go on further. So these things are fine. Actually, these are not required. And publish. So publish is the place where once we create the project, when I click on publish, what happens is like it will create an okay, nugget. Okay, XAML's validation error. Recording.xaml. So whenever there are some exceptions, it will throw it out. Okay, publish. So whenever I click on project, this entire project will be converted into .nugget package. So the nugget package will be converted, so that what we can do is we can either publish this nugget package in our local feeds or directly into the orchestrator. So that can be done, so that the nugget package will be available either in the orchestrator or on the local machine. Okay, so this when we click on publish, it will be published on the local machine. Let me say, okay, so this is how it works. And coming to the debug, so these are the debug tools what we are using: step into, step over, step out. So list of debugging items, and these are the breakpoints where we can select an item and click on breakpoint. And when we click on debug, what happens is like at this particular breakpoint, it will stop the execution until and further we click on continue, so that we can identify the items till that point. Okay. Slow step execution trials. These are the other items that are not required as of now. Okay, so this is more about the ribbon items. And now coming to the panel items. So we do have the right panel, left panel, right panel, or else left panel. We do have the activities, wherein all the activities that are dependent to the project will be displayed over here. Okay, so for example, as I said earlier, email activities. When I click on email activities, nothing is displayed because this project dependency or else the package is not installed for this particular item. Okay, then I'll go to manage package, go to official or else all packages, email, search for email. It will list out all different set of email activities, right? So but we do want official one. Then I'll go to official, not email, mail. Official one, I do found me uipath.mail activities. Click on install and go ahead. Now what happens is like this will create all the this will enable all the activities that are associated with the mail activities, and all the list of activities will be displayed over here. For example, let me search for mail activities. See, when I search for mail activities, all the list of activities like the IMAP activities, Outlook activities, and POP3 activities and SMTP, everything will be displayed over here, and we can use this list of items to any set of or create a process flow for any set of automation. Okay, this is one thing. Next, project is the one where all the dependencies are existing, and what are the different kind of flows or examples which we are recording or else creating will be shown up over here. Okay, let me open this project. So see, the actual project looks like this with the default template. This is data folder, documentation, everything. So the core under the heart of the entire project is the project.json file. The heart of the project is project.json file, where it contains the entire details of the project, like the name of the project ID, description of this particular project, from where the main file starts. Okay, when I change this main from to other file, then this the execution starts from that particular file. Okay, so we have installed few uh, packages, right? Those packages or the dependencies will be shown over here. So right now I have Excel, mail activities, PD, mail and the PDF activities were installed right now. So those will be displayed over here. And what are the dependent items that are needed for this process? All the items will be available over here. So when I remove this particular mail activities again from here and save this. Okay, save and close. Now, when I go back to the project again and refresh this, it's dependent. Why it is not going up? And let me go to activities. Okay, I think I need to restart the entire UiPath Studio to reflect those changes. Right now, I cannot do that right because it's been too late for us. Okay. So because this is removed, and when I restart the machine again, that mail package what we have installed will be removed because that is not defined in this project.json file. Okay, is one thing. Let me do it quick. Okay, so this is more about the activities. Next, the snippets. Snippets are more like in reusable components that are predefined. Okay, so this is a very simple thing. Snippets are. Okay, so apart from this, yeah, coming to the right panel. So we do have the properties. The first and the foremost thing what we require is the properties. So whenever an activity is selected, they do have their respective properties. For example, um, this click activity has a different property, and use application browser has a different properties. Okay, identifying an element using this particular activity can be done using the properties of this particular activity. See, for example, when I select this, we do have input items and the output items. Okay, right? So we'll provide the input as an like a file path as an application browser, and the target application is will be defined as Firefox. Okay, And then we do have the output options, because this output options, what it will do is it can be reused in any uh, part of the code. Okay, so this is more about it, the properties. So the properties are the key for any activity for defining the items. For example, let me say get Outlook mail activity. So for the get Outlook mail activity, what happens is like we need to provide the account from where we need to get the details and from which folder we need to get the emails. And also filter option enables you to filter the emails over here right away without doing any filtration steps, or else filtration based upon the message IDs. Okay. And two more items is called mark as read. This enables once you read out all the emails, also defined set of emails. What it will do is after reading all those emails, it will mark the items as read in the email mailbox, Outlook mailbox. And also the order is from the newest to or the oldest that can be defined. So once all these are defined, then we can define the output as control. When I do a control K list. Okay, so this will list out all the email IDs. Also all the email, extract all the emails from the Outlook which we define from the account and also from the mailbox or the mail folder. Okay, this is more about this properties. And outline. So because the other items are advanced concepts, we don't require them as of now. I'm just giving talking about the major concepts. Okay, outline. So outline is the one that defines the entire project structure, how we are building. For example, when I go to init state, when I click on this outline structure, see how it will be. It has it contains more. It will show up how the structure of this particular XAML is built up. Okay, instead of going the in-depth details of this item, it will go with the actual structure, how we define this entire flow or else the entire XAML. Okay, this is more about the outlines. And most important items is like variables, arguments, and imports. So imports are the one. So whenever we using the mail activities, then we need to have the mail imports that needs to be enabled over here, or else that needs to be added so that we can use those imports for our projects. Okay, so variables are the one where, and let me go to the main process. For example, here we do have list of items. So system exception. System exception is one of the variable which we are using to assign some exception that is happening within our process flow. So initially we are initializing the system exception as nothing so that this variable contains no exception. Whenever there is a system exception happen, we can assign that system exception to this particular item. Okay, so this is a defined variable, right? So these variables can be defined over here, like for example, this is a system exception, right? So we are defining this over here. So all the variables can be defined either from the variables panel or for a particular activity. I want to change the name of this variable. Okay, I can go over here. We do have this variable, right? Okay, what I can do is I can clear this. I can do a control K or right click, create a variable. Control K or right click and create a variable sys exception. Okay, and click on OK. So click on OK. Now system exception, sys exception is sorry, a new variable created with the name called sys exception, and it is assigned with nothing. But still there is an error or else an exception, because the thing is whatever the variable we are creating by default, that will be created as a string variable. Okay, but this is an exception type. The variable type is exception. So then what we can do is we can go over to the variables, go to the sys exception and define this type of this variable. Okay, so when we click on drop down, there will be few list of variable types are visible to us. So we want to define system exception to this particular variable. So what I can do is I can go back to the browse types, select for search for the system exception. System exception and select that and go ahead. Now when I do this, where is this system exception? Okay, system exception. Oh, sorry, exception. System dot exception. This is the exception variable. When I change this particular warning or error message is gone because now the variable type matches with this actual actual variable type. Okay, so this is how we have different types of different ways we can create a variable, either from the variable panel or from the activity properties, and select that item and right click to create a new variable over here. Okay, so this is how we are creating variables and arguments. So this is one of the major important concept in UiPath, where when we are invoking or what we call calling a sub process. Okay, when I say main is a parent process. Okay, main is a parent process. We do have sub processes called init all settings. This is a child process. Okay, now what I'll do is in the main process we do have list of things that are available which are not available in the child process. For example, few variables are created in the main process that are not available in the child process. Then what we will do is we will create that as an arguments in the child process. That means what it will do is what child will do is it will ask the parent, hey parent, I want these three items. I want a config file name. I want a config sheets. Okay, which config sheets I need to do read, and out config. Config is a dictionary wherein it contains a key pair values. That means what it will do is it will take few parameters as an input and it will pass few parameters as an output. Okay, that is how it happens with the arguments. Right now in the init settings, what it is asking is like config file name and config sheets. Okay, so it is asking for this location of this config file and which sheets it want to read. Right, after reading all these items, what it will do is uh, after reading all these items and performing few actions, what it is trying to do is it is trying to create a configuration file, config dictionary is kind of a key pair values. So for example, let's talk about a legacy way of dictionary, legacy word, the actual meaning of a dictionary, right? So what it will do is it will for example, when I search for a word, okay, watch for the word education. When we search for the word education, what it will do, it will provide the gist of what education means. What is the actual meaning of an education, the entire meaning of an education. So similarly here also what it will do is it will create a key pair value. Okay, for example, when I say car, it will create a car as a key and the pair value will be like something like Ford. So similarly, it will create all the list of key pair values as a dictionary and it will pass the dictionary to the main workflow. Let me show you that. So here it is asking for two inputs and it is providing one output, right? So when I go to init all settings, here it is this main workflow. What it is doing is it is sending the inputs like the location of this configuration sheet and also which sheets it needs to be read, right? So those things were performed over here. Input parameters will pass it to the file and it is taking a details extracted by the child workflow over here. Okay, that is assigned to this configuration config variable, so that what are the details that are extracted in this child workflow will be passed over to the parent workflow and captured using this variable. So this is more about the variables and arguments. Okay, so this is more about it. That's it. Output. Yeah, one more thing, output panel. So whenever we run a bot, all the output details will be logged, or else what are the log messages, what are the exceptions, what are the warnings that are coming up within the project, within the project run. Okay, that will be logged in the output folder. Okay. Next, coming to the breakpoints. So breakpoints are the one where we put some breakpoints at a particular stage of an automation or else process flow, and run in the debug mode so that the process will pause for certain time, and it will where we can identify few errors. And error list is the one where all the errors that are coming up while analyzing or validating the project will be thrown over here. For example, if I click on analyze project, so there are some few set of predefined rules available in the UiPath. So using those predefined rules, it will throw out all the exceptions or else the warnings that are available. Okay, here when I see there are 6 warnings, what it is saying, variable extract data table is not used. Okay, it is extracted, or in the recording, when I go to recording, it is extracted, but it is not used anywhere in the process flow. Target somewhere. Yeah, somewhere it is extracted. I forgot this. Okay, so that's one thing. So when I see this, it also shows up at which file the actual exceptions or the warnings are coming up. In the recordings.xaml, it is showing up. Okay, log message is created, but it is not used in the recording flow. So similarly, so whatever the errors, warnings, or the exceptions that are being created or else available within the process flow in the entire process, that means the entire project level, that will be captured using the analyze project. Okay, with predefined rules that are already existing. So this is more about it. Let's do one thing, let's create a simple process. Okay, because of the time constraint, I'm trying to create a very simple process so that you people also will have to create that in parallel with me. Okay, fine. And one more thing, I want to show you one more thing. Okay. So when I go to studio cloud.uipath.com, we do have list of yeah. Yeah, so we do have list of items over here, right? So this is the home page wherein we do have all the things like different sort of items, like I already showed you, right? Like building first automation, like inviting to the teams GitHub or something like that. Those items is available, templates, automations, and everything. So the second one is the orchestrator. When we click on this item, this will be redirected to this automation orchestrator page where we manage the automations and artifactories. Okay, and third one is UiPath Studio Web. So this is one of the major item I need to show you up. Okay, so UiPath has latestly newly introduced the UiPath Studio Web, wherein you don't need to create, sorry, you don't need to install a UiPath Studio on your local machine, and you can use this to UiPath Studio Web to create your projects for the cloud applications. I mean, when you say cloud applications, API access, those are hosted on the web. Okay, so not the legacy applications or the Java applications that are hosted on your machine. what are the applications that are hosted on the web. You can use the UiPath Studio to create the business and use that. Okay, this is one of the um, latest items that was developed by the UiPath. Now, for example, let me try to Gmail. So these are the predefined templates, right? Let's create a small project using Studio Web rather than a UiPath Studio. OneDrive, Bow. This requires permissions as of now, so I don't want to do this with this. Okay, maybe I can show you that in a different manner. UiPath Studio Web and also apps, UiPath apps. So UiPath apps is majorly used to create application. Open it, yeah. So UiPath apps is like creating and building your new apps. Okay. Creating apps using this particular form. This can be, you can create any set of forms that are needed. Forms are what we call the applications that have interfaces, right? So those can be created over here. And next one is integration services. This is an advanced concept. Maybe I can stop here. And also there is an admin folder over here where you are managing your tenants. When I say tenant, okay, when I say tenant, I'll create a different tenant over here, new tenant over here. Let me say, yeah. Next, create. Okay, see, when I created a tenant over here, I could see two tenants over here, AI service and the second one is JNTUV. Okay, what happens is like when we are creating a tenant, okay, then, okay, fine. So the major advantage of tenant is like data privacy. Okay, whatever the data or else the automations that are available in the UiPath, sorry, AI service, those won't be visible or accessible by the JNTUV tenant unless and until an access is provided. So your cloud platform is a common repository for an entire enterprise. For example, when I say entire enterprise, let's take an organization TCS. Okay, TCS is using a cloud.uipath.com as a common enterprise. This is an example that won't use as a cloud.uipath.com, but still it is using in cloud.uipath.com as a common platform for hosting all the domains. Okay, there might be list of domains like the administrative services, financial services, supply chain, okay, engineering, and different kinds of tenants will be available. Okay, they will create a different kinds of different tenants within the same platform, and what are the automations developed by that particular department will be assigned to the tenant so that the other tenant or else the other department is unable to access the data or the processes or assets, whatever might be, what are the services that are available in that particular domain won't be accessed by the other other domain tenant. Okay, so this is the major advantages of tenants. Cool. So let me go ahead. What else? Yeah, fine. So let me go ahead and create a simple process. I don't want to make a complex process. Let's say Flipkart. So the thing is like whatever I worked till now, that is completely on enterprise edition. Right now, the what are the community edition has is having the latest like the advanced features of UiPath where don't have access and we haven't worked on it. So that's the reason there is some gaps between these items. I will definitely cover that. Okay, let's say we have taken a simple sequence to log into the Flipkart application and search for an item. Use application or a browser. let's say when I say use application or a browser, let me launch a Flipkart. Now what we need to do is we need to indicate this browser, flipkart.com. Now once we launch this, what we need to do is uh, we need to sign into the application and search for few items. Then what I'll do is one more thing. So one more thing, when we are talking about robotic process automation and there is a use case coming up to you. Okay, so let's say log into the Flipkart and then we'll search for an item and then select an item and add to the cart, right? So this is the process what we are also, or else the use case what we are given. Then what we need to do is we need to visualize that manually. How we are doing that? We will need to visualize that. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll launch the application browser and go into sign in, enter the details. Okay, and then log into the application, search for an item, and then add to the cart, right? So these are the steps what we are doing. Then similarly, while we are building a bot, what we need to do is we need to perform the same actions using different set of activities that are available for us. Okay, so here I'm launching the browser using the Flipkart, and then also there are few properties available for this, whether to launch it as an incognito private mode or a new item, something like that. So there are different kinds of properties available for us. If I enable this Chromium, right, it will launch this browser in a private mode, also incognito browser. Now what I'll do is click. Mhm. Um, Sorry, am I going too fast or any questions till now? Maybe you can raise your hand so that I can answer at the end of the session. Okay, thank you. Click on sign in. When I take the target element, it will automatically ask for the anchor element. So where I need to provide this, like I'll provide the heading as an target element over here and click on confirm so that it will be selected. When I click on sign in, okay, sign in won't happen because it will request for OTP, right? I won't go with the sign in. I'll directly go with the search. For searching, we do have an activity called type into. Okay, any text boxes or any combo boxes or whatever the input items needed, then we need to use this type into activity. So similarly, we do have n numerous number of activities that are available in UiPath. You just need to explore those. You need to um, provide those items. That's it. Confirm. Search. The text must be provided, right? Uh, for example, I provide iPhone 12 and then hit enter. So after providing the details, we need to hit enter or search, right? So for that, we do have an actions available over here directly. We can click on these actions. No. Empty field. So yeah. So click on enter. So this will enter iPhone 12. It will provide the iPhone 12 and hit key enter. Okay, so that once that is search is done, then what it will do is it needs to be selected and add to the cart, right? So before that, we need to provide a delay because after clicking enter, it might take few seconds, right? Few seconds to uh, upload the details. Sorry, display the details. I'll provide a delay of some 25 seconds. And also, whenever an activity is being executed, the default wait time of that particular activity is 30 seconds. So that the before timing out or erroring out of particular activity, if that is not found, the default wait time is 30 seconds. Okay, this can be changed using the properties by changing this timeout properties like for example, if it is 30 seconds, 30,000 milliseconds, right? So I can say like 12,000 milliseconds. So similarly, you can change it, but the default wait time is 30 seconds. After waiting for 25 seconds, for example, iPhone 12. Okay, so I'll select the first item and add to the cart. This is very simplest of the use case because I don't want to mess up as of now um, due to time concern. Okay, so when you see the selector, right, the target selector, it says Apple iPhone 12 Black 64 ZP. So the entire description of this item is provided over here. So when I change this to blue, see the second one is blue, right? Blue. When I change that, okay, it will select the second item. Okay, in the during the run, I'll show you out. Let me validate. Yeah, well, when I click this validate, validation till it is showing as black. Why? Plus star validate. Okay, there are some changes needs to be updated for this selector. Let me do it for here. Validate. See, now the actual selection changed from black to blue. The fuzzy selector element something changes, right? So let me remove this fuzzy selector. So the actual element, so whatever the target that is, it is showing up is changed to blue, while I have updated this strict selector. Okay. So this is how we can play with the selectors. So selectors are the major core of an identifying an element in a particular application, whether it might be in web application, whether it is a Java based application, whatever it is a legacy application, whatever the applications which we are using, the core is like a selector. The selector contains all the high level details of that particular object within that application. Okay, so when I say when we open this, it say the AA name, application name is iPhone 12 blue 64 GB and the parent ID container. It those details will be displayed over here, right? When I go back to black only because the anchor is not updating. Okay, and confirm. Yeah. See, we are already using a container, right? This is called container, and within this container, we are using the items. So the default item is like we are using a Chrome browser as a default item. Okay, you are using, sorry, yeah, application as Chrome, and also the selector is, see, app name is chrome.exe, and the title is like flipkart.com, something like that. So, and the URL is provided over here. So this is the top level window. Using the top level window, the what are the childs or the what are the child items that are available over there, that will be that will take the only high level select item. Okay, we'll select this and add to cart. I'll do a add to cart. That's it, and nothing else. Okay, these are the actions I defined as of now. So what we will do is we will run the bot. The Chrome is already open here, but still what happens is like it will not open this Chrome item. It will open a new browser window because we are defining a private window. We are defining incognito or private window. Let me run this. Okay, bot has already started. So it has opened the new window, new private window. So it is waiting for to type in why. Something went wrong. Okay. So something in the background is happening. That's the reason something. Webpath browser automation 23 point started debugging this browser. Cancel. Let me relaunch it again once again. Just a moment. Maximize window. So one more thing we need to I need to explain you like for the selectors. Okay, what happens is like there are two kinds of selectors. One is full selector, or else the complete selector, and another one is like the dynamic selector, or else a partial selector. Okay, when I say like flipkart.com, when I go over here and validate this, it is showing up because this page is available with all the details, right? So whenever there is some change in this title, then what happens is like it will throw an exception. Then what we can do is we can make this selector as dynamic by replacing this entire text with star. Star is called a wild character, which is having which will consider all other items. Okay, still it is highlighting. Fine. Let me rerun this again. So the UiPath bot will be invoked over here. If you see there is an icon invoked, right? Flipkart. Yeah. Bot run is executed and close the tab. Okay, great. Key enter is done. Wait. Sorry for that. Actually, the other tab is duplicate tab is opened in this Chrome browser, right? That might be the reason it closed that particular item. Let me try to rerun this. Sorry for that. On the browser. Why it is maximizing? Is there a problem with this incognito mode? Yeah, there is some problem with the incognito mode, I guess. iPhone 12 black. Select that. Okay. Okay, there is a wait time of 25 seconds over there. That's the reason it is waiting for the process to move further. Why it is not showing? 24. Sorry for that. I have given 25 minutes instead of 25 seconds. Let me make it as 10. 10. Oh, sorry for that. 10 seconds, right? Make it as 8 or 6. And enable execution trial, highlight elements, enable execution. So while debugging, we do have an option called an execution trial and a highlight element, so that whenever it is executing, so before executing that action, it will highlight that element and then it will execute that. Let me debug this again. So it launches the application, highlights the application. Now it will highlights the search bar, provides iPhone 12, and then waits for 6 seconds. Selects the iPhone 12 black. Now it will go and click check out. But should highlight right. Okay, got it. See, this add to cart won't work because the top level window is defined to this window. That's the reason it is not working. So we can change this out. See, when if you can see, so all the what are the actions that we have provided is executed as per as expected, and all the items are done over here. But still adding add to cart is not executed as expected. We can check that. Okay, so this is how the simple process is being written on RPA using UiPath. But due to time constraint, I couldn't go and create a complex projects for you. Sorry for that. And so this is how we work on UiPaths and creating an business flows using RPA. So any doubts, maybe you can post that over chat or you can raise your hands so that madam will unmute you and you can ask those questions. Hello. Madam, any doubts on this? Like, if someone think no one is responding, don't know.
Thank you, Pramod, for
Yeah,
your
thank
interview session regarding
Madam, you are breaking up. I think there is some network latency.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Now you are audible. Yeah, please tell.
Thank you, Pramod, for your interactive session. I mean, hands-on session regarding
Thank you.
the remote process automation.
Robotic process,
Robot,
robotic process
robotic.
automation.
Sorry.
No worries.
Uh, Once again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, ma'am. And any doubts, maybe you can post it over to my email, and also you can connect with me over LinkedIn for any other suggestions or any other doubts. You can search for Venkata Pramochandra Kadali over the LinkedIn, and this is my profile. Maybe you can connect over here, and you can post your questions or talk to me offline whenever you're required. And one more item. Yeah. So this is my email ID. So whoever wants to connect to me via emails or post their questions as well, post the sessions when no one, sorry, who are unable to ask these questions over the meeting can post their questions to my email ID as well. Thank you.
Okay, Pramod, we will share your email to our participants. Thank
Sure,
you once
sure.
again.
Yeah, thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Ma'am, are you there?
And thank you, Jaisuma ma'am and Jyoti ma'am for giving me all this opportunity to share the knowledge across to the faculty or the students for their upcoming projects. Thank you. Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's my pleasure. Absolutely. Absolutely, ma'am. Always welcome. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I think we are good to end the meeting.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.